I call the honourable member Mike Sabin.
Mr Chair, I couldn't possibly comment on your choice there, sir, but thank you very much for the privilege and opportunity. The member, Andrew Little, unfortunately takes after his name in the sense that he has tried to belittle the issue of criminal gangs, of organised crime in this country, sir. And there is nothing more certain in my mind than the proliferation of gangs and the drugs that they peddle, the money laundering, the crime and misery that they wrought on New Zealand society is nothing more than an out-and-out disgrace, and every single effort that we can actually put forward that undermines their ability to perpetuate the intimidation, the crime and the misery that they bring to New Zealand society is a positive thing. Now, Mr Little seems to suggest that courthouses have little signs and therefore all other government buildings can have little signs as well. Now, if Mr Little had spent a little bit of time in the real world, sir, what he would have actually seen is the challenges of gangs, and the one area that are dealing with them more than any other government department, of course, is courthouses. And, sir, there have been stabbings, shootings, beatings and the like in courthouses, inside the courthouses, outside of the courthouses, sir, and for a long time they have had rules on the wearing of gang patches, because it's not always, sir, the fact that the gangs are actually beating up innocent members of the public who may be waiting in the gallery or maybe waiting outside the courtroom, sir. They're beating up fellow gang members from opposing gangs, sir, because that's what gang members do. So what happens is the violence that is created because of the fact that when a gang member wears a gang patch, sir, it is about identity, it is about mana. To them, it is everything. It encapsulates everything that they are as human beings. That patch is so important to them, sir. So courts have long since decided that to avoid that sort of confrontation, they would have a no gang patch requirement inside courthouses. The big difference between a courthouse and a primary school, Mr Little, is that in a courthouse they have court security. And there are plenty of people who, within a few seconds' notice, can respond to the outbreak of violence. So the difference is, when we see Mr Little, the ability for a courthouse to be able to enforce, and trust me, they can't always enforce them. I've been called to the courthouse on numerous occasions to remove gang members who are wearing patches, take their patches off, put them back in the cells and put them back upstairs. What's that, sorry? Well, the police can enforce it. The police can enforce it because obviously when they wear it in there, according to this bill, and it's a very good question, Mr Hipkins, the police will be able to respond very promptly and be able to come in there with a power of arrest that this bill will provide and take care of that. But the point I want to make here, Mr Hipkins, is the difference between how a courthouse tries to operate and is dealing with it compared to the many other government department buildings or government buildings which this bill will actually give effect to. And so the difference is quite significant. The idea, though, that in the local IRD office or at Monganui Primary School or at Kaitaia Intermediate School, that a teacher can wander up to a patched-up gang member and say, "Oh, no, you must remove that," and they'll say, "Certainly, ma'am, I will comply with that order immediately," is just ridiculous. It just does not happen. It just does not happen. Mr Little, I have some respect for the member because he does actually make some learned comments at times. But I'm afraid, sir, that on this occasion Mr Little has gone right off tangent. And this really is what we see in this bill, sir, is the fact that the Labour Party has gone right off tangent. They are out of touch with what New Zealand society is saying. I'm very interested to hear what the member Lewis Wall will say about this, because she's making a big stand on the party pools and recreational drugs. But of course what gangs do is deal in illicit drugs. So I'm sure that member will be wanting to make some very strong comments about gang members and the proliferation of gang members in her electorate and the significance of the gang patch to that gang member. And I would ask that member to tell us what she believes the importance of a gang patch is to a gang member, sir. I would welcome that call from the member. And, sir, when we look at the problem of gangs in New Zealand, there is nothing that will convince me otherwise than this bill is going to have a positive effect.
I call the honourable member Lewissa Wall.
Thank you very much, Mr.